Now in my previous video regarding the skills found in the Tensura world, I realized that for ultimate skills there are still quite a lot to talk about. That's why in this video I wanted to cover all the ultimate skills that have appeared throughout the series. I'll mainly be talking about their effects and who they belong to, but will only be focusing on ultimate skills found in the anime and light novel. I'll also be giving my personal rating on each ultimate skills to see which is the strongest and most interesting. And there will definitely be spoilers for that time I got reincarnated as a slime, so here's a spoiler warning just in case. But if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this in the future.
成功しました。ユニークスキル H あるものはアルティメットスキルラファエルに進化しました。
Before I begin, what are ultimate skills? They are essentially the final evolutionary stage of skills and can only be obtained after breaking through the limits of the unique skill. They are the rarest type of skills, giving users the ability to control the very laws of nature itself or even rewrite the principles that govern the world of Tensura. They can only be countered by another ultimate skill and no single ultimate skill is the same, but there are cases where one can acquire or essentially borrow them from others. Furthermore, within the ultimate skills, it can be further divided into two separate subcategories as well, the ultimate enchantment and the ultimate gift. They are both ultimate level abilities that are given to the users instead of acquiring through normal means. The only difference is that enchantments are ones given by the mana smiter, whereas gifts are ones that are given by the mana seal. In any case, ultimate skills are also categorized into separate systems or series based on the naming convention used to describe them. Although many of them aren't official names, but they are accepted by the fanbase, so here are all the available ones. That said, we can now take a look at all the ultimate skills, starting with the angelic and demonic systems, the only two that are official to the Tensura series. So for the angelic system, it refers to the set of ultimate skills first created by the Star King Dragon Valdenava based on his own existing divine authority, and there are 14 in total, with 7 in the Virtue series and 7 in the angelic series. After the world he created stabilized, Valdenava released some of the skills into the world so people that were worthy could manifest them, but because the skills were too powerful, they were restricted to only the unique level and had to be reawakened again. But for the angelic series skills, they are all given to the primordial angels. Now moving on for the demonic system, skills from this system are born directly from the strong desires of the user and often are a reflection of their willpower. And although they are considered to be imitations of the angelic system, they can still offer the same power to rival them, and it depends on the user's proficiency. So being a counterpart to the angelic system, the demonic system likely has 14 ultimate skills as well, but currently we only know about 11 so far. The 7 Deadly Sins series is the most notable one, and like the name implies, it has 7 skills and then there are another 4 skills under the demonic series. With that, let's begin. We'll be going over the angelic system first, and just as King Michael was part of the Virtue series, this was considered to be the strongest in the system because it has the ability to take control of other ultimate skill holders from the same series and allows the user to access all their abilities as well. Phantom King Feltway became the current user after the Mana Smiter was defeated, although fragments of the skill have been absorbed by Rimuru and Chloe as well. This skill has 4 subskills: Armageddon, which allows the user to summon up to 2 million angels; Guard, a barrier that provides the absolute defense and is powered by the loyalty of the user's followers, but the user can't use any attack type abilities when it's activated. Regalia Dominion is the ability to take control of anyone as long as the user has greater available energy than the target. Ultimate Dominion allows the user to take control of other angelic system ultimate skill holders, but they have to be within the perception of the user. Personally, I will put this skill in S tier because it's quite a versatile skill, but the mind control aspect is really the reason why it's so powerful. I mean, Feltway was even able to control someone like Million with this skill. Patience King Gabriel is another Virtue series skill, and this was given to the White Eyes Dragon Valzad by her brother Valdenava. It's a skill that boasts the second greatest defense, losing only to the Guard of Justice King Michael, and allows her to basically stop the flow of time, which complements the innate deceleration nature of Valzad's true dragon powers. There are 3 subskills attached to Gabriel: Fixation, and this allows her to lock the target in their current state and effectively seal all their movements. Eternal World is a powerful world system skill that creates a domain where everything except for her comes to a complete standstill and all attacks are rendered ineffective. The third is simply space-time manipulation, giving her the ability to control space and time. For this, I think it's only A tier because it's only powerful when paired with Valzad, and I'm pretty sure if anyone else has this skill, it won't be as impactful. Charity King Ragal is an ultimate skill that is said to have the greatest offensive capabilities in the Virtue series, while it also has the power to provide support, enhance, and amplify the user or their allies. The skill was given to Valgrim by Valdenava because it complements her innate true dragon nature, which was acceleration. The skill was later integrated into Covenant King Uriel and transformed into Divine Flame King Katuga, so it no longer belongs to Valgrim. There are 5 subskills in total, with the first one called Amplification, allowing her to amplify something beyond the limits of the target almost indefinitely. Then we have thought acceleration, space-time manipulation, and multi-layer barrier. The fifth is parallel existence, which allows her to split her consciousness into independent bodies that are capable of using all the existing skills available, but each new body would take away 10% of her current energy. Ragel is probably an A tier. Again, it only seems wrong because Valgren was a true dragon, and although it does provide a lot of utility, the evolved version is much more powerful. Wisdom King Rafael was one of the Virtue series skills that Rimuru Tempest acquired when he awakened as a true Demon Lord. It gives him the power to manage or alter the literal laws of the world, like creating new skills or modifying them. It's also considered to be the most powerful skill in the analysis and support class of skills, like an insanely overpowered AI assistant. When Rimuru named Rafael's seal, it evolved into a Theosophical Manas, and the remainder of the skill was combined with Gluttonous King Beelzebub to create Void God Azathoth, but the skill still belongs to him. It has a total of 7 subskills: Thought Acceleration, Analytical Appraiser, Parallel Operation, Chant Annulment, All Creation, Synthesis and Separation, and Alteration. Without a doubt, this skill is S tier because Rimuru would not be able to do many other things in his world without help from Rafael, and whenever you ask anyone what skills they want, this is always the top answer. Next is Covenant King Uriel, another Virtue series skill that Rimuru acquired during his Harvest Festival, but it was thought to have been lost when Valdunava was killed, and no one knows that our little slime friend actually has the skill. This skill specializes in everything related to management, like spatial organization or skill categorization. Also, the skill is made up of all the leftover skills that Rimuru possessed before evolving into a true Demon Lord, but the core subskills are actually just 4. Unlimited Imprisonment, which allows him to permanently seal away targets in a spatial bubble that prevents any interaction between the inside and outside. There are also Spatial Domination, Universal Barrier, and Law Manipulation. As for the user, Uriel was later consumed by Seal and formed into better skills, like Rimuru's Fertility King Shub Nigurev and Valgren's Divine Flame King Katuga. Now, this might be a bad take, but personally I consider this a B tier because Rimuru mostly uses it just for the management aspect, and with a skill like Rafael, it just feels redundant. Hope King Sariel was one of the original 7 from the Virtue series, and it was first awakened by Grandpa Rosso, but it was later passed to Chloe Orbert after his death. The skill grants the user the ultimate control over the source of life itself, and they have the power to manage the literal circle of reincarnation. The only known subskill is called Life-Death Domination, and like the name implies, it allows the user to resurrect people or instantly killing them based on the right conditions. However, the skill was apparently incomplete and had a few missing components, but when fragments of Justice King Michael was incorporated into Sariel, it would evolve into Spacetime King Yog-Sothoth. This skill is probably just an A tier for me because even though the resurrection aspect seems strong, there's a more powerful version of this ultimate skill. Purity King Metatron is part of the Angelic System and one of the 7 from the Virtue series. This skill grants users the ability to freely manipulate Spiritrons, the literal essence of Magicals, and has the ability to bring the most destruction as compared to the other skills in the Angelic System, because users can basically just repeatedly fire the strongest Holy Spell Disintegration without needing to stop. For the subskills, it's still unknown, and currently, Metatron still belongs to Leon Cromwell, but later the skill was modified by Seal and upgrading it into the ultimate skill like King Surya. I will put this skill in B tier because even though it has high destructive capabilities, it's too hard to control and chaotic. Regal King Jibril belongs to the Primordial Angel Pico and there is no information on the skill. Glory King Hanil belongs to the Primordial Angel Gracia and again there is no information on the skill. Salvation King Azrael is in the possession of the Primordial Angel and Phantom Commander Obera, but she discarded the skill and it has returned to Michael. Since we don't know anything about these 3 skills, we'll just put them as unknown. Heavenly King Astarte was one of the Angelic series skills that Valdunava had given to Dino, and he was able to awaken it to the ultimate level through his creation skill. The only known subskill is called Evolution, which gives him the ability to evolve skills in the direction that he wants, and if he has enough accumulated energy, he can even evolve unique skills into ultimate skills. And with the information I have, I would give this a C tier just because it seems like the cost to improving a skill is too high and there are plenty of other skills that can provide the same effects but less restrictive. Judgment King Israfil belongs in the Angelic series and the Phantom Commander Zalariel was able to acquire the skill upon his incarnation into a physical body. This skill specializes in controlling the movements of matter and energy within his sphere of influence like spatial teleportation or movement. Spatial Domination is the only subskill we know about. Israfil was later modified by Seal and transformed into Retribution King Mythos, a more powerful version of the existing skill. I will rate this a C tier for now because it seems to only provide the user with spatial movement and we don't really know much about the skill. Conviction King Sandalphon is another skill that is part of the Angelic series. It allows the user to dictate the battle by adding various attack modifiers into their weapons. It has 6 subskills: Necrosis, which destroys a target's magic circuits, preventing them from using magic. Dispel will counteract magical effects. Remove is a skill that breaks down the target's defensive barriers. Eraser will produce a high-density magic attack that drains the energy of the target. Judgment is a combination of all the aforementioned for the most powerful attack modifier. Presence Consumer allows the user to completely hide their presence from most forms of detection. This skill used to belong to Lieutenant Kondo, but after he was defeated by Carrera, it was combined with her Annihilation King Abaddon, but Michael managed to somehow recover the skill, so it was also given to Arios in the form of an ultimate enchantment. Now in the hands of the right people, this can be quite powerful, so I'll give it S tier because don't forget that Kondo used this to take down Valdora, a true dragon. The last of the Angelic System skill is Domination King Melchizedek, and it was created by taking the domination aspect of Justice King Michael. This skill allows the user to instantly analyze any ability and then take control of the wielder of said ability. Michael initially gave this skill to Kigali in the form of an ultimate enchantment, but it was later stolen by Yuki Kagurazaka through his ultimate skill. I'll give this skill a B tier because it's basically just a much weaker version of Michael and it seems to have more restrictions. With that, let's go over the demonic system starting with the 7 Deadly Sins series. Gluttonous King Beelzebub is one of the ultimate skills that Rimuru acquired when he evolved into a true demon lord. This allows Rimuru to basically influence or consume anything within his perception while ignoring limitations like space and time. The skill has a total of 9 subskills. Predation allows him to absorb any targets. Stomach is basically a storage space inside of him, while Isolation breaks down harmful effects into magic use. Mimicry can be used to reproduce any form that he has analyzed. Rot is an effect inbuilt into Predation which can decompose organic targets. Soul Consume gives him the ability to seize the souls of people who have their spirits broken and those that have been recently killed. Foot Chain is an ability that allows him to access the skills of his subordinates, either copying or giving away skills to them. Also, Beelzebub was later merged with Rafael to form the skill Azidaka. This is an easy S tier because this is outright broken. Rimuru can basically devour anything in the series without much consequences and the subskills are just too useful. Lustful King Asmodeus is part of the 7 Deadly Sins series and this skill was awakened by Luminous Valentine from her previous unique skill Lust, and the skill has the absolute authority over life and death. There are 2 known subskills. Life and Death Domination is the same as Serial and the second one is called Embrace of Death, which allows her to feed on the magic use of a target that she has physical contact with. This is an A tier because it's basically the same as Serial, although in the hands of Luminous, its potential is much greater. Greedy King Mammon is another ultimate skill belonging to the 7 Deadly Sins series and Yuki was able to acquire this skill through evolving his unique skill Greed. It gives him the ability to steal from his targets like taking their life force and energy or even stealing their skills as well. There are 5 known subskills within this ability. Steal Life, which allows him to take the energy of his targets and convert the energy for himself. Skill Steal, the ability to take the skills of his targets, even ultimate level skills, but he cannot steal ultimate skills that are attached to the soul. Spiritual Domination allows him to have complete control and influence over the thoughts and desires of his targets. The last 2 are Thought Acceleration and Multilayer Barrier. I would rate this B tier. It seems overpowered but there are just too many conditions to be fulfilled and Yuki has failed to have any impact with it after he acquired the skill. Sloth King Belphegor is from the 7 Deadly Sins series as well and Dino acquired the skill when he forced his unique skill Sloth to evolve. The skill gives him the absolute power to dominate those that possess wisdom and feelings. Now the skill has 2 confirmed subskills, Fallen Thanatos, which is a lethal mental attack that completely destroys the target's mind. Fallen Catastrophe will give him the ability to hypnotize targets and put them to sleep forever or permanently destroy their mind and body. Also there are 2 unknown subskills, one can hinder the perception and senses of his targets while another simply allows him to share his accumulated energy with his allies. B tier for now because the only time we saw Dino use the skill was against Beretta and Zagion and it was pretty underwhelming. Wrath King Sentinel is part of the 7 Deadly Sins series and it was considered to rival the powers of Justice King Michael. It's currently in the possession of Million Nava and this skill is essentially the ultimate battery, keeping her constantly powered with infinite amount of magic use. There are 2 known subskills. The Magicule Breeder Reactor is a skill that when activated, allows her to take in Magicuse from her surroundings while combining with her own Magicuse to constantly produce more Magicuse. The second one is Stampede and this is a defense mechanism that causes her to go into an uncontrollable berserk mode, a perfect representation of the Destroyer. This is probably an A tier for now because other than providing endless supply of Magicuse, we still don't know much about the skill. Pride King Lucifer was the first skill in the 7 Deadly Sins series to come into existence when Guy Crimson acquired the skill through evolving his unique skill Pride, and currently there is no information on the skill, so obviously it belongs in the not enough information tier. The last skill in the 7 Deadly Sins series is Envy King Leviathan and there is no information in regards to this skill or its current user, but the web novel did mention it belonged to Balzard, so we just have to wait and see. This also goes into the not enough information tier. Next, we have the Demonic series, starting with Temptation King Azazel, which was acquired by Diablo when he combined his unique skill Tempter and Great Wise Man into the skill. This skill gives him the ultimate authority in mind control and illusion abilities, basically turning anyone that lacks an ultimate skill in his vicinity into a puppet without any resistance. It has 9 subskills, which include Thought Acceleration, Universal Perception, Demon Lord Haki, Space-Time Manipulation, Multi-Dimensional Barrier, and All Creation. The other 3 are Punitive Domination, the ability to dominate individuals that lack an ultimate level skill, Charm Domination, which does what the name implies. The last one is called World of Temptation, a world system skill that allows him to drag a target psyche into a mental world controlled by him, and he can activate Reality Exchange to turn the things that happen in the mental world to affect the real world. This is S tier for sure because of the world system skill, and Diablo is definitely someone who is able to maximize the potential of his ultimate skill. Then there's Poison King Samael, and it was awakened by Ultima during her fight with Damrada. This skill gave her the ability to become the master of poison and weaknesses. It has 8 subskills in total, those being Thought Acceleration, Universal Perception, Demon Lord Haki, Space-Time Manipulation, Multi-Dimensional Barrier, Weakness Identification, Lethal Poison Creation, and World of Annihilation. Weakness Identification allows her to access the weaknesses of her targets, and paired with Lethal Poison Creation, she can create the most suitable poison to kill her enemies. World of Annihilation is a world system skill that allows her to instantly kill anyone without an ultimate level skill within her vicinity. I think this skill is still S tier simply because her world system skill is outright dangerous and broken. Hell King Belial is one of the 14 skills from the demonic system, and it was acquired by Tensura through evolution. This skill gave her the ultimate control over life and death similar to Asmodeus, but unlike Asmodeus, this skill leans more towards the death aspect. There are 8 subskills in total: Thought Acceleration, Universal Perception, Demon Lord Haki, Space-Time Manipulation, Multi-Dimensional Barrier, All Creation, Life and Death Domination, and World After Death. The subskill World After Death is a world system skill which creates an imaginary hellscape where she has the absolute control over life and death. This is easily another S tier simply because of the world system skill. The last known skill in the Demonic series is Annihilation King Abaddon. It was awakened by Carrera after she defeated Lieutenant Kondo, and later it was merged with the skill Sandalphon to increase its potential. The skill gave her the power to harness her already crazy levels of magic skills to bring about the ultimate destruction. It consists of 7 subskills: Thought Acceleration, Universal Perception, Demon Lord Haki, Space-Time Manipulation, and Multi-Dimensional Barrier. The other 2 are called Limit Break, which likely allows her to increase her own potential past a limit, and Dimensional Rupture that causes her attacks to disrupt all spatial type abilities and even bypassing Distortion Field. Also, all the subskills belonging to the skill Sandalphon was integrated into Abaddon as well. Now, if the skill did not have the addition of Sandalphon, I would have rated it A tier, but with it, this is an easy S tier because it greatly amplifies her already insane power level, and also I quite enjoy her relationship with Kondo. So with that, let's go over the True Dragon series, which is currently possessed only by Rimuru. The first is Valdra, Lord of Storms, and this allows Rimuru to have access to Storm Magic while also having the ability to summon Valdra whenever he wants. This skill has 3 subskills. Storm Dragon Summon and Storm Magic works like the name implies. Storm Dragon Restoration allows Rimuru to store the memories of Valdra, and this allows the Whip Dragon to be essentially immortal. Then we have Valgrian, Lord of Scorch, and it's the same as Lord of Storms, but with Scorch Magic, and Rimuru can summon Valgrian. Also, both the skills were later integrated into Azathoth. For me, this skill is probably just B tier because I think other than summoning a true dragon, the other skills don't really offer much to the user. Now moving on, we have the Japanese Mythology series, and there are currently only 2 known skills found under this series. The first is called Hit King Amaterasu, and it was acquired by Benimaru after sacrificing his unique skill Generalissimo during his fight against Granite. Also, the skill was based on Valgrian's ultimate skill Ragal, so it gives him the ability to wield a portion of her powers. The skill has a total of 7 subskills: Thought Acceleration, Universal Perception, Demon Lord Haki, Multi-Layer Barrier, Spatial Domination, Will Control, and finally Light and Heat Domination, giving him the ultimate control over both elements. I have to give this a B tier because it's essentially just a weaker version of Ragal. Next is Moon King Tsukuyomi, an ultimate gift acquired by Soe when he evolved his unique skill Shadow Striker. This skill allows him to manipulate shadows and become a master of stealth. It has 9 subskills: Thought Acceleration, Universal Perception, Mental Manipulation, Spatial Manipulation, Multi-Layer Barrier, Parallel Existence, Insta-Kill, Ultra Speed, and Eye of the Moon. Insta-Kill allows Soe to directly attack the spiritual body of his targets, while Ultra Speed basically allows him to accelerate a target like himself or his attacks. As for Eye of the Moon, it gives him the ability to manipulate shadows for teleportation, assassination, or surveillance. This is an A tier skill because the effects are actually quite strong and provide a lot of benefit to Soe, but I think it's only useful for very specific situations. Then we have the Goethe series of ultimate skills, likely inspired by the works of Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, which is honestly just awesome because Faust is such a good story. That said, the first skill in this series is Investigation King Files, an ability that grants the user the power to reach the ultimate truth and control over probability, a nice callback to the story itself with the protagonist Files being someone that is on the quest for knowledge. The skill belongs to Valdra and he acquired the skill after he was forced by Rafael to obtain an ultimate skill so that it could be more useful to Rimuru, and it was later evolved into Chaos King Nilahotep. It consists of 5 subskills: Thought Acceleration, Analyze and Assess, All Creation, Probability Manipulation, and Investigate Truth, which just allows Valdra to access a record of all the world's events. I would say this is only A tier because I think Valdra is old enough to have known most of the events in the world without needing the skill, but it does help to compensate his lack of control, so that's why it's still A tier. The next one is also from the story and the name is Illusion King Mephisto, based on the demon Mephistopheles that made a pact with Faust. The skill was acquired by Zagion after undergoing his own Harvest Festival, and it gives him the absolute authority over illusions, meaning that he can't even be affected by mental attacks. It has a total of 9 subskills: Thought Acceleration, Universal Perception, Multi-Dimensional Barrier, All Creation, Demolon Haki, Space-Time Manipulation, Water and Lightning Domination, Mental Manipulation, and World of Illusion. Now, World of Illusion is a world system skill allowing Zagion to create a space where he has complete control over what is or isn't reality, similar to Itachi's Izanami. Obviously S tier because world system skills are just overpowered, and we all know that Zagion is already an S tier character. Continuing on were the skills inspired by Indian mythology, starting with Heavenly Winged King Vayu, which belongs to Amasia, the current emperor of the Sorcerer's Dynasty Sarian. This skill is one of the highest weather system skills, and hers was control over wind magic. Not much is known other than the 2 subskills, which are weather domination and wind control. Thunder King Indra is next, and it belongs to Sylvia, the mother of Amasia. This skill is also one of the highest weather system skills, giving Sylvia the ultimate control over thunder and lightning. Similar to the previous one, we only know about the subskills, which are weather domination and lightning and thunder control. Both the skills are probably just B tier, nothing special and very generic. Like King Surat was acquired by Leon after Seal modified and optimized his existing Metatron, the skill now offers complete and total control over Spiritrons, allowing the destruction to be more controlled. The skill also has the same subskills as his previous ultimate skill but with much stronger effects. I would put this in S tier just for the improved performance and overall power output of the skill. The last 2 in the series are both ultimate enchantments. One is called Book of Prophecy Agastya, which Kigali acquired after Seal evolved her unique skill planner, and this allows her to predict or see the future through complex calculations. The subskills for this particular ability are currently unknown, and I will roughly rate it a C tier because even a normal subskill can do what this ultimate enchantment does. Having said that, the last one is called Blaze King Agni, which was acquired by Jahil after Michael had given him portions of Charity King Ragal. The skill likely has the same subskills and maybe with the addition of light and heat domination since he can also control fire. Even though Jahil was able to overpower Benimaru with this skill, it still feels underwhelming, so probably just B tier. Now time to go over the ones inspired by H.P. Lovecraft. Let's start with Rimuru's Void God Azathoth, a skill that he acquired by combining his Beelzebub, Rafael and both his True Dragon skills. It gives Rimuru the ultimate power to consume basically anything and everything imaginable. It has 7 subskills: Soul Consumption, a super enhanced version of Predation and Gluttony, Turn Now or Nihilistic Collapse depending on the translation, which gives him access to the ultimate destructive energy that fills the chaotic world, basically something like negative energy or dark matter. Imaginary Space is a super evolved version of Stomach and Isolation. True Dragon Release allows him to summon parallel existences of Valdra and Valgren. True Dragon Nuclearization will transform both True Dragons and condense their energy into a nucleus core that could be fitted into slaughtered weapons. The last 2 are Space-Time Domination and Multi-Dimensional Barrier. This is an easy S tier because the nihilistic attribute of the skill and the upgraded effects are just too overpowered. Harvest King Shub-Nigraf is another skill that belongs to Rimuru, and it was created by using the leftover essence of Uriel merged with all the skills that he has gained from Food Chain throughout the series. This skill allows him to create any abilities that he wants, even ultimate level skills, and using all the skills he has previously analyzed or giving them to others. The core subskills of Shub-Nigraf are skill creation, skill duplication, skill gifting, and skill storage, and they function exactly like their names imply. This is an S tier because he basically has access to the effects and abilities of every skill he has analyzed throughout the series, and even helping to increase the potential of his allies. Space-Time King Yog-Sothoth is the ultimate skill of Chloe Orbit, and she acquired the skill by combining her unique skill Unlimited Imprisonment, Absolute Severance, Usurper, and Time Travel. It gives her the ultimate control over time and space, but the skill was disabled by the Manas Michael early on. However, after defeating him and taking the fragments of Justice King Michael, her skill evolved into Space-Time God Yog-Sothoth. So this has 7 subskills, which consist of Time Leap, the ability to travel back in time under specific conditions, and Time Stop, the ability to stop time for a limited duration. Next is Absolute Severance, an attack that severs the spaces around her targets. Then we have Seize, Copy, and Force Takeover. They allow her to take the skills of her targets but with different conditions. And the last one is Unlimited Imprisonment. So for this skill, I will give it S tier because it doesn't just give her time manipulation, but she can essentially steal any skills that she wants. Chaos King Nilahotep was a skill evolved from Valdra's Faust with the assistance of Seal. It's basically an upgraded version of his previous skill and it has some additional sub-skills as well: Parallel Existence, Space-Time Manipulation, and Multi-Dimensional Barrier. However, I will still rate this A tier simply because the additional sub-skills don't provide that much improvement overall. Divine Flame King Katuga was the skill that Valgren acquired after Seal had combined Ragal with Uriel. The skill became more powerful and had the added benefit of allowing Valgren to locate the soul of any entity that she wanted to find. It has the same sub-skills as before, but amplification was converted into thermal excitation, an enhanced version of the previous skill. She also acquired a new sub-skill, Dimensional Leap, which allows her to travel to a certain point in time or even cross into different dimensions, but she has to always have the exact coordinates, and if a version of her exists, she can't travel there. This skill deserves an S tier because I think her time travel and dimensional hopping skills are very interesting. Stella Wind King Hastu was a skill created by Seal by merging the ultimate skill Valdra with the analyzed version of Uriel. It was acquired by Best Doggo Ranga thanks to his desire to become stronger and serve his master. The skill gave him the highest level of control over basically all forms of weather phenomenon. It has a total of 7 sub-skills: Thought Acceleration, Universal Perception, Demolot Haki, Weather Domination, Sound and Wind Control, Spatial Domination, and Multi-Layer Barrier. This might be the strongest in the entire weather system of skills, so I'll give it S tier because Ranga is best doggo and also Gopta definitely benefited a lot from the skill as well. The last two are Book of Magic Necronomicon and Book of Sorcery Grimoire, both ultimate gifts given to Adalma and Ghidorah respectively by Seal. They are both skills directly linked to each other, meaning information can be shared or accessed by both users. Necronomicon was able to improve Adalma's necromancy and holy magic while also strengthen his control and protection over the dead. This skill has a total of 9 sub-skills: Thought Acceleration, Universal Perception, Demolot Haki, Chant Annulment, Analytical Appraiser, Awe Creation, Mental Crush, Holy Demonic Reversal, and Domination of the Dead. Mental Crush is basically an attack that is capable of destroying or damaging the spiritual and astral bodies. Holy Demonic Reversal allows him to swap between the holy and demonic attributes. Domination of the Dead gives him total control over the undead. Now for Grimoire, it allows Ghidorah the ability to access and use all the known magic stored within Seal's library. It has 9 sub-skills as well: Thought Acceleration, Universal Perception, Demolot Haki, Chant Annulment, Analytical Appraiser, Awe Creation, and Mental Crush. The last two are Knowledge Browsing, giving Ghidorah access to all the magic spells stored in the knowledge bank of Rimuru and Seal. And Concept Sharing is basically the ability to let Ghidorah share knowledge and concepts learned by him through his mind directly with Adalman. So both skills have some interesting concepts and ideas, but I have to rate them B tier simply because it could have been expanded more to include maybe a more diverse or unique skill set. So moving on, the only ultimate skill based on Arabian mythology, Beast King Bahamut, which was the ultimate gift that Seal had given to Kumara. This skill basically gives her the absolute power to control gravity, being able to influence the gravity of an entire planet and the manipulation of earth magic. There are 6 sub-skills associated with this skill: Thought Acceleration, Universal Perception, Demolot Haki, Gravity Domination, Spatial Domination, and Multi-Layer Barrier. Additionally, even though this isn't a sub-skill, Kumara was able to increase her control over her tailed creatures and their potential has been increased as well thanks to the ultimate gift. Overall, I would rate this B tier because although she can control the gravity of the planet, it's not exactly practical as compared to other mass destruction skills. One wrong move and life on the entire planet could just disappear. Now the next series are the ones inspired by Roman and Greek mythology. We have Fate King Fortuna, which was acquired by Hinata Sakaguchi after she evolved her unique skill Mathematician. This essentially boosts her combat capabilities by allowing her to have an almost perfect future attack prediction against her opponents. There are 8 sub-skills with Thought Acceleration, Universal Perception, Divine Haki, which is just the opposite of Demolot Haki, Space-Time Manipulation, Multi-Dimensional Barrier, Awe Creation. Computational Domain is likely the ability for her to create a powerful aerial effect that boosts her own predictive abilities, and the last one is Virtual World, a world system skill that Hinata has complete control over. I would give this skill S tier because it provides a lot of benefits to the user and the existence of a world system skill always makes any skill overpowered. The ultimate gift, Queen Possession Prosopina, is a skill given to Apito when Seal perform a skill alteration to existing unique skill Queen Worship. This new skill simply enhances the potential of her previous ability and removes one of her sub-skills called Insect Demon Birth. The skill itself has a total of 9 sub-skills: Thought Acceleration, Magic Sense, Spatial Manipulation, Multi-Layer Barrier, Ultra Acceleration which boosts her overall speed, Ultra Instinct will increase her overall combat awareness, Lethal Attack allows her to imbue attacks with different status effects, Military Command essentially enhances her leadership skills, and the last one is Demon Insect Domination, giving her the ability to command and boost the potential of her subordinates. Now even though the skill provides a lot of general improvements to Apito's skill set, but overall not that much, so I'm just giving this an A tier. Next, we have Divine Machine King Deus Ex Machina, an ultimate skill acquired by Beretta after sacrificing her unique skill Reversal, giving her the ultimate control over matter and earth. Some of the sub-skills include Thought Acceleration, Universal Perception, Demolord Haki, Spatial Manipulation, Multilayer Barrier, Mineral Domination, Earth Manipulation, and Inverted Fusion, which gives her the ability to create and fuse opposing natures into a new and contradictory form like Demonic and Holy Magic. This skill essentially makes Beretta an overpowered earthbender, and with how much the world is built from minerals, I would say this skill deserves to be S tier because of the potential danger it has. Retribution King Meters is the skill possessed by Zelario after his ultimate skill Israfil was modified by Seal. It has the same power as his previous skill but is more powerful overall, and it retains the same sub-skills from his previous ultimate skill as well. Since we still don't know much about the skill other than it being an improved version of Israfil, I will bump this up to B tier for now. The last in this series is Optimistic Performer Orpheus, and this was acquired by Tyr thanks to Seal, who combined her unique skill Optimus and Claimant's unique skill Manipulator. This boosted Tyr's overall potential by giving her complete mastery over her physical and mental capabilities. It has two known sub-skills which will carry over from the skill Manipulator. Leyline Manipulation allows her to collect information through the ley lines of the world, and Information Encryption, which converts the information she has into encrypted communications or help analyze other information. I'm giving this C tier because I don't really see it benefiting Tyr, and the skill overall just seems underwhelming. That said, there's also one based on Persian mythology called Evil Dragon King Azidaka, which was the ultimate skill awakened by Vega. This skill basically gave him the power to absorb the power of people he has eaten and to control all organic life. He has 4 basic sub-skills: Thought Acceleration, Analytical Appraisal, Parallel Operation, Multilayer Barrier, and 3 other unique ones. Organic Domination allows him to consume the target's physical body and acquire their racial abilities. Skill Absorption allows him to target spiritual life forms, stealing their energy and skills. Mass Reproduction is the last one, giving him the ability to create powerful biological duplicates of himself, and the quality depends on the quality of the biological material used. This is a very horrific skill capable of creating even super awakened level creatures, and in the hands of someone like Vega, it makes the skill even more dangerous, so I think the skill deserves an S tier for sure. So with that, the leftover skills I have yet to talk about don't seem to be based on any notable sources, and I'll simply classify them as others. Now the first one I want to talk about is the ultimate skill King of Heroes, and it was acquired by Masaoki Honjo after he met all the hidden conditions of the unique skill Chosen One. This skill causes him to become a heroic banner and provide his allies with protection against even the ultimate level skills. He has 7 sub-skills: Hero's Blessing, which gives him crazy levels of luck; Hero's Charisma will give courage to him and his allies; Hero's Action has very vague effects but essentially makes everything he does to have positive results; Heroic Aura is the same as Demolord Haki but for heroes; Hero's Guide seems to be a power that makes him a heroic banner that can rally others; Fortune Domain is a skill that depends on his mood. If his morale is high and he is happy, it will grant greater levels of divine protection and luck boost to his allies. The last one is called Banner of the Supreme King, which lets him summon previous true heroes back to the Cardinal World in their prime. This skill is definitely an S tier because it doesn't only give Masaoki insane levels of luck, but the fact he could summon Rudra at his prime is a good enough reason for me. Anyways, for the rest of the skills that are in this category, they are all ultimate gifts and enchantments. We have Psychologic King Moodmaker, the ultimate gift given to Gabiru by Seal after she evolved his unique skill Tuner, which allows him to basically alter his own fate regardless of the situation that will always benefit him. So the skill includes 5 effects: Thought Acceleration, Spatial Manipulation, Multilayer Barrier, Change Destiny, and Unexpected Effects. Change Destiny essentially lets Gabiru alter the outcome of any event to favor himself, even preventing certain death, but it can only be activated once per day. Unexpected Effects lets him boost his attack power whenever he wants, and the amount increase will depend on his mood. Now I would rate this higher, but the once per day limit really hinders the usefulness of the skill, so I'll just give this an A tier. Gourmet King Beelzebub is the ultimate gift given to Geld after Seal combined his unique skill Gourmet and Protector. This skill greatly improved his defensive capabilities to a level that he could even hold against 3 Phantom Commanders. For the sub-skills, there were a lot added like Thought Acceleration, Magic Perception, Demolord Haki, Ultra Speed Regeneration, Predation, Stomach, Corrosion, Spatial Manipulation, Multilayer Barrier, Keen Smell, Isolation, Receive and Provide, Iron Wall, Grand Protection, Substitution, and Full Body Armor. Now Grand Protection allows Geld to put a defensive blessing on his allies, while Iron Wall and Substitute can be combined so that he will divert all damages inflicted on his allies upon himself. Corrosion is an attack modifier that corrodes everything he touches, even the spiritual body. I will give this an S tier because Geld was able to really push the limits of his skill, like when he fought against the Insecta Queen Palliot, he was holding against her for so long while letting the people around him recover, and when he was taken out, you can see how everyone else just crumbles. The ultimate gift, Blade Transformation, was given to Agera by Seal during his fight against Garcia. Like the name implies, the skill is pretty straightforward. It gives Agera the ability to transform into a golden blade. He can also transfer all his techniques and power to the wielder of the blade, and it seems like this skill doesn't have any known subskills. Now I'm giving this a B tier. It's interesting, but overall it doesn't have anything else worth mentioning. Next is Artist, the ultimate gift that Veyron was able to acquire during his fight against Marco thanks to Seal. This skill doesn't really have any notable subskills to talk about, and as for what it does, Veyron is able to imitate the powers and arts of people he has known at their peak, layering the results onto his own abilities. I'll give this skill an A tier for now because although it seems strong, I think there might be limitations to the skill, otherwise he can just copy the strongest characters whenever he wants. The last two ultimate gifts are Immortal and Eternal. Seal gave Immortal to Albert and Eternal to Venti after the Eastern Empire was defeated. Not much is known about the skills, but based on their names, I think it's pretty easy to understand what they do, to give some form of immortality to the users. In any case, we do know about their subskills and they share the same tree, Thought Acceleration, Complete Regeneration and Subordination Immortality, which allows both Albert and Venti to be practically invincible as long as Adalma was still alive. I will give both skills a B tier for now because it only provides immortality to the users, but Rimuru did mention there is still room for consideration regarding their ultimate gifts, so maybe they'll get some improvements in the future. Moving on to the ultimate enchantments, the first is called Alternative, an ultimate enchantment that the Mana Smiter can give to awaken individuals, and it was given to all the single digits of the Eastern Empire. Now the skill works in a very interesting way. It can basically give multiple copies of Alternative to multiple people without the restriction of ultimate level skills sharing the same name. That's because Alternative will often manifest into completely different abilities based on the receiver strength, like Hondo's Domination Bullet, Damrada's Soul Protect, or the parallel existence of Gardner. There are also cases where Alternative will outright evolve into another ultimate enchantment, like becoming the Lord of Martial Creation, Multiple Weapons, or Lord of Topography World Map, which I'll talk about afterwards. But for this skill, I will give it a B tier because even though most abilities it gives are pretty useful, it's too random like a gacha game, and it was mentioned that Alternative was also less stable and energy efficient as compared to normal ultimate skills. Now for the ultimate enchantment Lord of Martial Creation Multiple Weapons, it evolved from Alternative when Michael had given it to the Incarnated Phantom Arios. However, she was later consumed by Vega, so the skill is currently in his possession. As for the abilities, we don't know much about the subskills, but we do know the effects of multiple weapons. The user is able to create mythical grade equipment and they can essentially create any type they want, but there's a limited amount that can be produced. I will give this an A tier because the user can simply create mythical grade equipment whenever they want and even giving their creations to others, so it's definitely a strong skill. For the last one, Lord of Topography World Map, it was awakened by Mai Furuki after Alternative merged with her unique skill Traveler. The skill allows her to see the entire cardinal world and she can even produce real-time projections of the world. As for the sub-skill, there's only one that is known and it's called Instantaneous Movement, which gives her the ability to teleport herself and her allies to any location that she knows about. Personally, this skill is a C tier because it's nothing but the glorified Google Maps and it can't even cross the dimensional barrier, meaning it's locked only to the main cardinal world of the Tensura series. So that was all the ultimate skills, gifts and enchantments found in the Tensura series so far, and again I only included the skills from the anime and light novel. Hopefully I did not overload you with too much information, and let me know what were some of the skills that you found to be interesting or you like to have personally if you were in the Tensura world. Please don't hesitate to leave your answers down below. Also, here's a final look at my tier list for all the skills that I mentioned, and don't forget to share your own rankings in the comments as well. With that said, this was a really difficult video to make and hopefully you enjoyed it. If I missed anything or made any mistakes in regards to the overall skills, feel free to let me know. Also, if you disagree with my tier list, be sure to flame me in the comments down below and give the video a like to help with the YouTube algorithm. And remember to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell if you want more anime content like this in the future. Thanks for watching and as always, stay safe everyone.